Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, and my friends, in today's video we're talking about the amazing mothers in fighting games. As the time of me recording it, it is now Mother's Day, so what better time to talk about all the moms in fighting games. They're mostly a good bunch, some are a little kooky, but all of them have their kids and they're willing to protect them. Well, most of them anyways. So that said, let's talk about which characters are moms in fighting games. So first off, let's talk Crimson Viper from Street Fighter, and our only entry from Street Fighter. So Viper is a secret agent, has all sorts of tech toys, and is looking to stop Sin, an evil organization bound to take over the world. But don't worry, because even with all that, she still has time to pick up her kid from school. Maybe not wearing the most appropriate attire to go pick up her children at the school zone, but whatever, you just got off work finding this weird Brazilian green monster electric man, so you gotta make do with what you gotta make do with. It's a rough job out there having to take on all the world warriors and still running your family, but Viper is the kind of person who can pull it off. Now, speaking of redhead secret agent fighting game moms, well, we also have Vanessa from the King of Fighters. Vanessa lives a bit of a double life. As far as her husband and child are concerned, she's basically just a humble office lady. However, her real talents are espionage and bare knuckle boxing. Vanessa is a combo queen, has some of the craziest combos in whatever game she's in, and when you get hit, you're in for some big time hurt. Vanessa also very dedicated to the family unit. As characters like Ramon is basically a homewrecker, he is well aware that Vanessa is a married woman and yet constantly tries to get with her. And Vanessa, to her credit, is having exactly none of that. Vanessa is a mom with principles. Speaking of moms with principles, how about Sindel from Mortal Kombat? An incredibly powerful sorceress, Sindel is one of the strongest characters in all of Mortal Kombat. And this is a setting with all sorts of crazy gods and everything, and still, she's really strong. However, you could say Sindel has some complicated family issues at times. When it comes to the family, she has the best husband anyone could hope for. Now, granted, she had to kill the old loser husband that was in the way of this husband, but she upgraded. Problem is, in a lot of scenarios like this, the kid from the old marriage is still around. And Katana, frankly, she's a bit of a pain in the rear. Thankfully though, Sindel leads a progressive household. Has Katana, the old loser model kid, have them beaten, chained, and imprisoned, and then upgrades by getting an adopted child. So as you can see here, not every mom on our list is necessarily a quote-unquote good guy. Sindel is evil, she's a career-oriented woman, and it's not going to have the kids tie her down. Now, also from Mortal Kombat, we have Sonya Blade, military specialist. In a very, very rare feat for fighting game women, Sonya was allowed to grow old. She's not magic, she's not immortal, doesn't have special powers, there's no time skip or whatever, she just got old and had a kid. You might not think that's special, but as far as fighting games go, turns out it kinda actually is. And that kid would turn out to be Cassie Cage, who would grow up to star in Mortal Kombat 10 and 11 and be a pretty big deal herself. Sonya radiates that big mama bear energy. She's not here to joke around, have fun, or whatever. She is here to kick your ass. That is it. The fact that she grew up a career army woman basically meant that Cassie, her daughter, was also destined to be a career army woman as well. How about Dizzy from Guilty Gear? This is where the laws of anime start applying very heavily, as Dizzy is only a few years old herself, and yeah, she has a kid. Chalk it up to being a gear, and what is a gear? Well, it's a whole bunch of anime nonsense. Suffice to say, Dizzy is special and absolutely, patently, absurdly, ridiculously strong. That's about the easiest way to explain it without going into a whole thing about it. So Dizzy is indeed a mother. What about her family? Well, she raised a bright kid. Now Dizzy's child, his name is Sin. And despite the fact she's married to a king, let's say Sin didn't necessarily get the royal education when it came to a lot of how the world works. That all said, despite having titanic powers herself, and kind of a dumb kid, Dizzy is all in all a pretty wholesome person. Of all the moms on the list, she's definitely, I'd say, one of the better ones. She tries. From BlazBlue, we have Nine the Phantom. Now, Nine is a very, very powerful witch with a strong command of magic, and she has a lot of ups and downs, let's put it that way, throughout a lot of the BlazBlue lore. Nine is a big fan of, let's call it, the non-traditional family unit. She is the mother of Kokanoe, a cat girl in the BlazBlue universe. And how does a nominally human person give birth to a cat girl? Well, the thing is, let's meet the father. Jubei, the samurai cat man, is the father of Kokanoe. So love kind of progresses past boundaries and species. Let's put it that way. Bit of an odd family, but hey, there you go. Our next mother is Android 21 from Dragon Ball FighterZ. So 21 is an all-new character made specifically for Dragon Ball FighterZ, and her status as a mother is a little bit complicated. So before turning into an android, as a human, she had a son, and that son is the basis for Android 16. The father? That nasty old man, Dr. Gero. So she's the actual mother of the original person that 16's based off of, and as an android, I guess you can consider her the mother of the android of 16. Either way, she considers 16 her son, treats him like family, and in fact, it's the only thing that keeps her from going berserk. As 21 is a lot like Cell, except even better because she has Majin cells on top of everything else, the Saiyan cells, all that kind of stuff. So basically, she goes berserk without 16. Android 21 is one mean mama. Now, talking Tekken, we have a lot of moms in Tekken actually. More so than pretty much any other fighting game. First we have Michelle. Michelle is a Native American warrior, and she is the adopted mother of Julia. And like mother, like daughter, Julia basically inherited almost all of the moveset of Michelle. From Tekken 2 to Tekken 3, there was a fairly major time skip, and then all of a sudden, a lot of the kids of the characters are fighting instead of the originals. Perhaps the biggest example of this is with Jun Kazama. So Jun was a warrior in Tekken 2, and then come Tekken 3 and onwards, you don't really see her show up anymore. However, her legacy definitely very left well secured. As starting in Tekken 3, that's where Jin Kazama, her son, begins showing up and becomes a major part of the franchise, and also inherits a good chunk of her moveset. And then we have Nina. So Nina is a lot more popular than the other two characters we just mentioned. So she got to stay behind and exist in the other games when they didn't. So earlier in the video we talked about Sonya Blade and how Sonya was allowed to grow old and have a kid. So Nina got one of those two. She got to have a kid, but she was not allowed to grow old. Despite 30 some years going by between Tekken 1 and Tekken 7, Nina is still in her early 20s. And her child, Steve Fox, is also in his early 20s. It's this whole thing. Nina goes into cryo sleep in between every tournament, so she never actually grows old. And during one of those cryo sleeps, they stole one of her eggs and fertilized it and made Steve Fox out of it. It's really stupid. So Nina is more here as a mom on a technicality rather than actually caring for her kids. I guess she didn't shoot him in the head. So I guess that's pretty motherly. I guess she didn't assassinate him in the street. Because like many moms on this list, she happens to be a secret agent. That's kind of the most common profession of a fighting game mom. But however you want to swing this whole silly thing, there's no doubt about it, Nina Williams is indeed a mother. Even if perhaps she's not a particularly great one. How about Sophitia Alexandra from Soul Calibur? So a Greek warrior, a holy warrior chosen by Hephaestus, god of the forge, to get done what needs to be done and deal with that nasty old soul edge. And for the most part succeeds. In the original games, she defeats Cervantes with the help of Taki and destroys one of the two soul edges. And later on, she'd go on to marry the love of her life and have two kids. Those kids being Patroclus and Pyrrha. Patroclus based off of Sophitia, using the moveset, and Pyrrha being based off Cassandra, and neither of them were as popular as the originals, just FYI. That said though, past Sophitia's main original quest in Soul Calibur, once she gives birth to her kids, all of her plot is about her kids. She lives for those children. She fights to make sure those kids have the best possible life they can get. And she will take down anyone who tries to threaten that. So Sophitia, pretty good mom. And there you have it. So those are some of the incredible moms in fighting games. More than a few, and I guess there's some other oddballs like the kangaroo from Tekken technically counts, I guess. If I missed any, by absolute means, post in the comments below and let me know what's up on what fighting game moms I missed. But as you can see, fighting games aren't just for muscled up karate wizards. People from all shapes and sizes and all backgrounds can join in the fight, including some pretty tough moms. So that all said, my friends, we are at the end of the video, so thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some fighting games.